Hello, everybody. Welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. I am Anuradha, and welcome to my session on the CDS2 2020 English paper analysis. So, I hope that all of you who have taken the CDS2 2020 exam, that you have fared well, that you have given your best for this exam. Now, the time has come for us to see how your paper was. So, I am in this session going to tell you about how the CDS2 2020 English paper was. Was it difficult? Was it easy? Was it of moderate level? Right? So all our students who were subscribers to our CDS course have fared really well, have performed really well. We have been receiving news from these students who are more than happy to attend all the questions in their CDS2 2020 paper with flying colors, right? So they have been able to answer almost all the questions with full confidence. So if you are now waiting and thinking what you will do for your next CDS exam, I am here with the perfect solution for you. You just need to log on to our website ssbcrackexams.com, or you can simply download our mobile app from the Google Play Store and subscribe to our CDS course, where we have covered all the subjects with full content lectures, PDF study materials, quizzes, sample practice Q&A lectures, previous year's solved Q&A, mock tests, and much more. So hurry up and download our mobile app right now in order to subscribe to our CDS course, so that you too, like all other students who have just taken the CDS2 2020 exam, were happy. You too can be happy for your upcoming CDS exam. So let's not take much time and let's take a look into the CDS2 2020 English paper analysis, right? So we will quickly look into the marking system that was there in the CDS2 2020 English paper. So here you are. So each question, if you have correctly marked that question, correctly answered that question, you'll get around 0.83 marks approximately for each correct answer. On the other hand, if you have given a wrong answer, 0.27 marks approximately will be deducted for every incorrect answer. The total number of questions which were there in CDS2 2020 English paper were 120, carrying a total of 100 marks. So let's now take up and see what were the number of questions which came from each topic in CDS2 2020 English paper. So the first topic we are going to look into is spotting of errors. So as you can see, 10 questions came from spotting of errors in CDS2 2020 English paper. So if you have answered them all correctly, all the 10 questions from spotting of errors, you will score 8.3 marks out of the total 100 marks for 120 questions, right? The next topic from where the questions came were antonyms, right? And 10 questions came again from antonyms in CDS2 2020 English paper, and you can again score 8.3 marks if you have answered them all correctly out of the total 100 marks. Next were the synonyms, and the questions that came from synonyms were again 10 in number, and again you can score 8.3 marks for all the correct 10 questions if you have answered them all correctly from the synonym section, and you can score 8.3 marks out of the total 100 marks of the CDS2 2020 English paper. Next came idioms and phrases, and again 10 questions came from idioms and phrases. So I hope that you have been looking into checking out this pattern, that for a last couple of years the whatever questions that have been coming for your CDS paper were equally distributed. So nearly 10 questions came from all the papers. But in this year what happened, I will show to you, so that you will have an idea of how equally the marks were distributed, how equally the number of questions have been distributed through all the 12-13 topics in your CDS English paper. So from idioms and phrases, 10 questions came, and if you have answered them all correctly, you can again score 8.3 marks approximately out of the total 100 marks of CDS2 2020 English paper. Next was fill in the blanks, okay, sentence completion in the form of fill in the blanks, and again 10 questions came from this particular section, and again you can score 8.3 marks out of the 100 marks for correctly answering these 10 questions from fill in the blanks. And not only that, from close composition, that is the close test or the close comprehension, which is also another pattern of sentence completion question, those two questions also came from this particular section of close comprehension or close test, and here 20 questions came. Now, this is a little bit of surprise for the candidates who thought that only fill in the blanks or closed test will come. I already told you, if you can remember, that you need to go through both closed test and fill in the blanks questions, because you can't, we can't guarantee you that these questions will not come. So, very surprisingly, 20 questions came from closed test, right? Closed comprehension or closed composition in CDS to 2020 English paper. So, if you have answered them all correctly, so that student who has answered all the questions of closed test correctly will score around 16.6 marks approximately out of 100 marks. So that is a very big division of marks out of the total 100 marks in the CDS to 2020 English paper, right? So only in this part, in this section, there were 20 questions. In the rest of the topics in CDS to 2020 English paper, there were 10 questions coming from each section. Only in close comprehension it was 20. Okay. Then obviously from ordering of words the questions came. There were 10 in number, and again you can score 8.3 marks if you have answered them all correctly out of total 100 marks, right? And then also ordering of sentences the questions came from, and they were also 10 in number, and you can again score 8.3 marks out of 100 marks for answering questions from ordering of sentences topic. Next obviously came comprehension, and there were 2 passages given, 5 questions for each passage, so total 10 questions came from this topic, and the total number of marks you can score from this particular topic of comprehension can be 8.3 marks approximately out of the total 100 marks of CDS to 2020 English paper. Then questions from parts of speech came, and they were also 10 in number, and you can also score 8.3 marks out of total 100 marks for answering all of the questions from parts of speech correctly. And the questions from spellings came. So there were spelling mistakes and such, and obviously there were 10 questions from the spelling section, and again you can score 8.3 marks out of the total 100 marks for the spelling. So you can see that all the questions, 10 questions, were equally distributed for all the 10 topics in CDS to 2020 English paper. Only the 11th topic, which was closed composition or closed test, the number of questions were larger, which was 20, and it carried the maximum number of marks in the CDS to 2020 English paper. Now then, I will show you quickly the table that will help you to understand. So you can see the topics: spotting of errors, antonyms, synonyms, idioms and phrases. 10 questions came from each of these topics. As you can see, sentence completion, fill in the blanks, 10 questions came, but only in closed test 20 questions came. Again, from ordering of words and sentences, 10 questions came. Comprehension, parts of speech and spelling, 10 questions came, amounting the total 120 questions in CDS to 2020 paper. So quickly I will also show you the chart, how it has been distributed. The CDS to 2020 number of questions which have been distributed evenly like this for the 10 topics, and then for the 11th one, which is close composition, it is 20. So you can see that a very large part of the CDS to 2020 marks is from the close composition. Okay, now I will tell you how was the difficulty level. So this was a question for majority of the students, because again I have already told you, was the paper difficult, was the paper easy or moderate? Well, for me, the CDS to 2020 English paper was comparatively easier this year. So the students who have already gone through our CDS course, have subscribed to our CDS course, were the ones who were mostly advantageous, who have taken lots of advantages out of this situation, out of the CDS to 2020 English paper, because most of the vocabulary and the grammar part have been really dealt with precision and with care for all the students. So students who have gone through the grammar part, the vocabulary part, and have gone through the idioms and phrases, lists and everything in our CDS course was the most advantageous of the lot, because the questions that came from the grammar, that is from spotting of errors, from vocabulary part like antonyms, synonyms and such, were of easy to moderate level. So the people, the students who have already subscribed to a CDS course were advantageous, because they have already gone through the questions, the concepts that have been already taught in our CDS course, right? So I will show you quickly the table so that you can understand. So I'll start from comprehension. The difficulty level was moderate, so you should have a good reading and comprehensive ability to read the passages and answer the questions. The passages were a little bit of advanced level, not very easy to read and understand. So that is why you should have some kind of reading and comprehensive ability to understand the passages, and then only you can answer the questions. Spotting of error questions were very easy. It was a cakewalk for the students who have gone through such concepts of grammar like verbs, tenses, adjectives, conjunctions, nouns, prepositions, and so on. So the grammatical knowledge, a very deep and a clear understanding of grammar, it was necessary for the students who had attended the CDS to 2020 English paper, specifically the questions from spotting of errors. It was very easy to answer for those who have already gone through our CDS course, practice exercises, quizzes that we have provided in our CDS course, and also the CDS mock test series. Then obviously ordering of words in a sentence was easy because there you need to just follow the rules of sentence formation. So in my lecture on ordering of words in a sentences in our CDS course, if you are watching that lecture, you will be able to understand how easily I have told you to apply certain tips and tricks, and that will help you to solve the questions in a much more easier manner. For idioms and phrases, the questions that came from idioms and phrases were a moderate level, and students who have a very standard vocabulary skills that they must have acquired through following my lectures on idioms and phrases in the list that I have provided, also gone through the practice exercises and CDS mock test series, will be able to answer them all very, very easily. I'm sure of that. For ordering of sentences, the questions were moderate, and the students have to use their logical connection and shortcut tricks that I have already taught to them already in my CDS course in my lecture on ordering of sentences. So the students who have followed my tricks for ordering of sentences have obviously cracked it. I'm sure of it. Fill in the blanks. The questions were moderate, and the student should have the basic grammar and vocabulary skills for it. It was concerning with the questions specifically from the tenses topic, also the verbs, and some of the vocabulary usage of words in a particular sentence. For antonyms and synonyms, the questions were moderate. They were easy to moderate, I would say. Some words were there which was quite easy to understand, quite easy to answer. Some were of moderate level. So students should have standard vocabulary skills to solve antonyms and synonyms. Now lots of lists of antonyms and synonyms I have provided in my lecture in the CDS course. So if you're interested to go through the antonyms, synonyms, and to learn more of the vocabulary stuff, you can subscribe to our course, obviously, where you'll get all the lectures and the list of words, and the students who have gone through those words have obviously cracked this. Parts of speech, it was easy because in the basic grammar knowledge the student should have, and in my spotting of errors topic I have already talked about the very basics of the grammar, starting from the different parts of speech like nouns, pronouns, verbs, tenses, and prepositions, adjectives, and much more. But in my parts of speech sections also I have discussed about the basic things like kinds of different parts of speech and their subdivisions and their usages. So people who have already gone through the parts of speech lectures must have known of it, because there were many options given, right? There were many options provided and they had to choose any one of them. There were subdivisions of parts of speech also. So obviously they should have a very clear and a basic grammar knowledge to solve questions from parts of speech. So it was quite easier for the students who have already practiced the questions and the quizzes that I have provided to them in our CDS course. Then obviously spelling mistakes, it was also easy. The student should have a standard reading ability. Students who have gone through newspapers have already practiced to the practice exercises and quizzes that I have provided, taken the CDS mock test series, have already been very advantageous in this sense because they have been able to answer the spelling mistakes section very, very comfortably. The last but not the least was close composition. Now, the most of the students for this section was very lengthy and tedious because there were 20 blanks that the students needed to fill up. But again, if they had not lost their patience, must have cracked it easily because it was of moderate level, and the student should have basic grammar and vocab. So basic grammar and vocabulary skills were needed for the students for this close composition section to answer all the questions correctly, because they were very really easy questions, easy sentences that were given, and the students just need to use whatever things that they have learned while they are filling the blanks in this composition, in the close composition section. So I hope that you have got an idea of how difficult it was for the CDS to 2020 English paper. It was not difficult at all. It was comparatively easier this year. I have just repeated this again because the students who have followed our CDS course have been most advantageous of the lot, because they have gone through a lot of quizzes, practice exercises, mock tests, and also obviously conceptual lectures and PDF study materials have also helped them in this journey. So if you want to now subscribe to our CDS course, I would say hurry up and subscribe to our CDS course right now. You can do so easily by downloading our mobile app, so that in your upcoming CDS exam, specifically CDS 2021 and 2022, you can perform your best, give your best, and you can get all the results with flying colors. Okay, perform your best, give your best. So I would suggest you to start preparing for your upcoming CDS exam from now on. So all the tutors are already coming up with the different subject analysis. So stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams, because we will be coming back with all the question paper analysis for CDS2 2020 paper. Not only that, we are also coming back with the answers keys and detailed explanations and solutions for the question paper of CDS2 2020. So stay tuned to SSB Crack Exams, and Jai Hind.